Hey guys, it's Alix.
And Kayla.
And we're married, not related, definitely codependent.
But in a cute way.
Here we are again.
Did you say that on purpose? Because
Yes.
last time I said, you always say, we're back.
Yes, I did.
So you said, here we are.
Again.
Here, queer. Our dog is a deer. The other one's name is Vladimir.
Honey.
What?
You're not a rapper.
No, that was more of a chant.
Was it?
I don't know. I was going to say what's the difference, but that's probably wrong to say in some ways. So I'm sorry. I don't know.
You're a little protester like our other dog.
Yeah.
No playa, no peace.
But we are here, and we're so happy that you are too.
Yeah. How do we start every time, honey?
Oh, you ask me this every time. That's what you said. You're like, you always ask me like I don't know the answer.
You do.
I do know the answer, of course.
No, but we're starting off by saying thank you.
Of course. We always want to thank our sister wives. Okay, this is actually a funny story. There was a couple, I don't know if they're lesbian, but like a WLW couple that sent a DM, and it was a screenshot of their Wi-Fi, the name of like their Wi-Fi network. And they said, this is the name of our Wi-Fi network in a tiny conservative town, I think in Utah. And it was said wives, not roommates, which I thought was hilarious. Funny. And then they had said like, oh, we both are like ex-Mormons who like come from polygamy. And so it's always so funny to us that we're like sister wives again, which I was like, first of all, I want you to come on the show because I need to know everything. Like, how did these two ex-Mormon girls end up married? I'm obsessed. Like, that is a love story that needs to be a book. I would devour it.
Well, the thing is
can I ghostwrite it?
Only reading Mormon books. Watching Mormon shows.
I've got out of the phase of Mormon books. I started a new one. It's not Mormon.
Okay. But even the TV shows were accidentally Mormon.
Yeah, it was accidentally. It wasn't like I was seeking it out. I'd be like, oh, this sounds good. And then you watch it and you're like, they're Mormon too. Like, why do all of these? Because there'll be like these really
crazy stories,
radical stories. And then they always end up being Mormon. And then these people reached out to me in that same era of Mormonism I was in. So I was like, I want to know your story.
It's so funny.
But anyways, we love you, sister wives.
Yeah.
And we're so happy you're here. We're so happy you're probably queer. That's my guess.
Most likely.
If you're not, we will turn you by the end.
Just kidding. The end.
By the end of this project. So, yeah. Keep subscribing, keep sharing, keep reviewing. It helps us grow. We really have just grown from word of mouth, and it's really fun. Mm-hmm. And it's really fun because I've said this so many times, but it's like, it feels like we're kind of creating the show together.
Yeah. Because
it's like, yeah, we get here, we come up and we talk about all of our ridiculous stuff, but you guys are guiding. Yeah, you're guiding so much of the conversation. You're like, hey, I want to hear about this. This is what's going, you send us these stories.
Stories that are so funny.
And ask all these questions and just like have so much to say. And so it's really fun to kind of do this together. And if you want to send us that stuff, DM us on Instagram, because that's where the mothership is. That's where we get all the goods.
Yeah. Well, it's my turn to lead today.
Okay.
So let's get into it.
I also want to say, today we're talking about lesbian sex.
Or what my wife says on social media, lesbian Lex.
Well, yeah, that's called...
not getting shadow banned?
Yeah, beating the algorithm, which is the same reason why I titled this episode Girls Hooking Up with Girls, because I was like, if I put lesbian sex in the title, specifically YouTube, like I don't think on the regular just like podcast app, they shadow ban stuff like that, but for socials, had to do it. But that's what we're talking about. We're getting spicy.
Should be interesting.
Yep.
All right, well, let's start off with a fun game called Sexy or Silly. So I'm going to read scenarios to you. You're going to tell me if you think it's sexy or silly. Okay?
Is it scenarios or scenarios?
Scenarios.
Okay, I say scenarios.
It's definitely scenarios.
Weigh in, sister wives.
I do scenario planning at my job all day, every day.
Okay, then it must be true.
Yeah. Okay, one of you pushes the other up against the fridge.
I feel like you think it's sexy. I would think it was silly. Like, that would be your dream if I did that to you. Whereas if you did that to me, I'd be like, I'm trying to eat. Like, what are you doing?
I do try to do that to you. And you're like, I'm trying to get food.
Or it feels like we're trying to like make a I don't know, it doesn't feel natural. So I'm like, okay.
Whispering, come here from across the room.
I can't. If you look at me from across the room and you're like, come hither.
Come hither?
Well, that's what it's like. I would think you were joking. Yeah.
Maintaining intense eye contact for too long.
Just like in the sex or when? Just
no, I think just
like right now, if we were just like staring into each other's. It depends. Like it can work it depends on when you're doing it and if you get a weird look on your face. If you get your like little slippery look, then it works.
Accidentally headbutting during a kiss.
I don't think it's sexy, but I think it's like adds to the
sexy or silly.
Yeah, it's like funny.
Silly, yeah.
You know.
Laughing mid-makeout.
I don't know the right word for it because it's like that kind of stuff. It builds intimacy, you know? So it does make it a little sexier, but the act itself is not sexy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Saying, good girl.
Please don't ever say that to me. No. You know the one that I really don't like. You're trouble. That's more like when someone first meets you and they're like, you seem like trouble. That's
gross.
An ick.
Sending a bold text from the other room.
Like it's written in bold.
Like a sexy text.
Oh.
What?
I could be into the words. I'm not as much into the pics. I'm not really a nude pics kind of girly.
Mm-hmm.
To receive. I'm like okay to send.
Okay. Pulling your partner in by the belt loops.
I like that. Not if I'm eating though. That's the problem with you, is you always do it while I'm eating.
Trying to be dominant but saying sorry immediately.
That is not sexy. Not at all. I don't know why I just thought of Carl Radke, but that's who I thought of.
Whispering something hot and mispronouncing it.
What could that possibly be? Like, what could you, like a menage a trois or something? Like, what could it be? Like, what could you say? What could you mispronounce? It's
that
sexy.
Would make me laugh so hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on.
Making a whole playlist for the moment.
My wife has a playlist for Paris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sexy? Yeah, I think it's sexy.
Yeah. It depends on the songs. Like, that playlist is sexy. If someone makes a playlist and it's like Katy Perry Roar, not sexy. Not sexy.
Well, what if it's that their version of a sex playlist is like such different vibes than yours?
Then it's not sexy, but it's like someone doing it with the right music is.
Yeah, it's gotta be the right vibe.
Yeah. Otherwise it's distracting.
Yeah. Using a pickup line you found online.
No. I don't like lines. I don't like them.
Breaking character to discuss logistics.
Sometimes it's necessary. It's not sexy or silly, but sometimes you gotta like do that, you know?
Yeah, I like it. Okay, last one. Making out, but one of you still has socks on.
That's fine.
Still hot.
Yeah, it's not either sexy or silly, but it's more like if you were fully naked, only wearing socks. I don't like that.
I don't like that.
I don't like that at all.
Take your fucking socks
Take
off.
them off or keep something else on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
keep your underwear on or take your socks off.
Something's gotta give.
Something's gotta give.
Something has gotta give. Okay.
But our dogs, they never take their socks off.
Honey, please.
They have little anklet socks on.
You
little
have
millennial dogs.
Millennium. You have the humor of a boomer dad. It's your
what
destiny.
What are you gonna do?
It's your
what are you gonna do? It's who I am.
Well, actually, who you are as a Southern man, inside. Inside.
I don't think so.
Well, I think I get to decide that. I think if there's one thing...
You get to decide who I am?
I get to decide your identity, obviously.
Okay.
Okay, so a few weeks ago, we did an episode that was talking about my first time with a girl.
It blew up.
It blew up. You were like, we're going viral. I was like, we have 100 views. Like, relax.
Isn't it over 3,000?
Yeah, honey. Okay, we don't need to
It's
be
blowing up.
talking logistics.
We're viral.
But this was a few weeks ago. Anyways, it did really well for us, and it was really fun again to see people weighing in on it. And I was also thinking, why did it blow up? It's probably because there's a lot of young girls out there being like, how do I hook up with a girl for the first time?
Or I just hooked up with a girl for the first time and I'm
Exactly.
panicking.
That's why those things are in the search bar, because people are like, or I want to hook up with a girl, but I don't, you know? So, and we started talking a little bit about, a decent amount about like lesbian sex and how it can mean different things to different people, but we also got a lot of questions and messages about it.
I also had to stop and be like, I have a lot of questions for you now.
Yeah.
That I need to ask you off camera because I did not want to ask you on the camera.
Yeah.
And when we spent a whole weekend having this conversation.
Well, yeah. So I was like, why did you have to? I don't care if it's on camera. And you're like, because I wanted to have the conversation in private. I don't want to learn things about you.
Yes.
While in real time. And I'm like, oh, okay, fair enough.
Some things are important to happen in your marriage first before
of course.
Being in a public setting.
I was taking it as like you didn't want to embarrass me or something by putting me on the spot. That's why I was like, I don't care. Like, just tell me or ask me, what are you doing, Vladimir? Our dog. By the way, her name is not really Vladimir, but that's her nickname.
Her name is Tortilla.
Her name is Tortilla, but what is she doing?
I don't know.
She has the personality of a teeny tiny dictator. Yeah. She rules the roost. So hence the Vladimir. It's short for Vladimir Putin, obviously. But we also just call her Vladdy Daddy. And she's given us one of those looks right now. Okay. So we had the conversation, and we had a really good conversation. I know we're not going to be able to replicate it.
No. We talked about it for 2 days straight, basically.
Right. Well, that, but also...
It was great.
And I said, I think we need to have this conversation because I know so many people, and there were other elements of it too that are going to be a whole separate episode that I was like, I know people will relate and have things to say. And I did also, again, put question boxes on Instagram. And so we're going to answer some of those questions too. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if we defined in the last episode. I know I talked about what I thought lesbian sex was before I was with you, but if someone asked you what is sex for lesbians, mm-hmm. how would you define it?
Well, I think my definition changed after our conversation.
It did?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, how would you first have defined it?
I first would have just defined it as basically a situation where both people are getting off to some extent.
Okay.
Where it's like you're...
Hey, guys.
No. Yeah, that whatever shape that takes form to get there, that...
Getting off meaning there's an orgasm.
Yeah. So, and not to say that if one person doesn't, that you didn't just have sex or whatever, right. But you're both receiving pleasure, and that could come in a lot of different forms, whether that's oral with a strap on,
And what about
mutual
hands?
Masturbation, whatever. That
okay.
Whatever it takes, that's sex.
Okay.
That's what I would have said before.
Okay. So
what would you have said?
Guys, stop. Sorry, these dogs.
Tell them what you would have thought.
Okay, well, so I did say this in the last episode, but I'll say it again in case you didn't listen to that one. So Alix, when her and I first met, Alix was she knew I was super nervous, and I was nervous about a lot of things. Her impression was that I was nervous because of us hooking up for the first time, which was true. Like, but it was more than just because we were hooking up. It was because of all the things riding on it. And she had asked if I had had sex before with girls that she knew about who I had, you know, dated or been with or whatever. And I was like, no, because in my mind at that time, lesbian sex was only with a strap on. Because
which that blew my mind to find that out on the podcast.
So yeah, and it was, I mean, I know now why I thought that. I think is because it's like, I'm like, well, yeah, there has to be a penis involved for it to be sex.
Right.
Because I had only known sex as straight sex before. And by the way, I didn't really know a lot of lesbians. I was not super even though it's weird because I was already an influencer and stuff online, but I wasn't like connected online the way I am now. You know what I mean? Like, and just everything was so different back then. Mm-hmm. And I was also living in the jungle. I wasn't like so I guess I had access to the information, but I wasn't seeking it out. So I wasn't like, oh, what do people think lesbian sex is? I was just like, oh, that must be what it is, where you're fully emulating straight sex. One person is wearing a strap on, one person is not, and you're having essentially like straight sex, you know? And so I had said no because I had never done that. Not realizing that, oh, it can actually be, of course I knew that like oral sex is sex, right? Like it has the word sex in it. But I personally, if I, for instance, hooked up with a guy and we only did oral, I would not go and tell my friends after we had sex.
Right.
I wouldn't use those words. So I didn't say oral sex. I didn't think of oral sex as sex in that sense because everything I'm comparing it to was straight.
Right.
But that, I don't know exactly how I would define lesbian sex now.
Yeah.
How do you define it now?
Well, so I think your point that you made about like what you just said and also in our conversation, which is like you would be like, yeah, well, like this guy went down on these people went down on me and now they're in my body count. People. You know, like that, you know, exactly. You'd be like, yeah, that I didn't have sex with like
we hooked
10
up
guys. We like hooked up, whatever.
Yeah.
And so in that sense, I get it because I also kind of agree with that, right? To an extent where you're like, yeah, I get why you'd say that. Why you'd be like, yeah, we didn't have sex. Because I would say the same thing. Like when I hooked up with a guy when I was younger, I never, I don't say I had sex with that guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Just because there was like sexual things involved.
Exactly.
Right.
And so now I do really agree with what you said, which is like in our conversation, which is like the intentionality piece of it.
Yeah.
Because I still think it's like my original definition that I shared, but then adding the intentionality piece to it of like, and like, I want to have sex with this person. I'm choosing to have sex with this person. And like, you know, we're doing all or some or a variety of the things to get there.
So, okay, we kind of have to rewind because I had said that on air where I was like, I thought that lesbian sex was just with a strap on, and I had never told you that before.
Yeah.
I didn't, not for any reason. I didn't realize I was like withholding this. It was just like never came up. I don't know. And I was like, yeah, like that's just what I thought. And you were like, what? Like I did not know that's what you thought. Because you did know, for instance, that I had hooked up with the specific girl that you were talking about. Mm-hmm. And so that off air is then when we started talking about, well, what is the difference between just hooking up, even if some of the things that we did were the exact same things as things that we do, but we will say like, we just had sex. You know what I mean? And it's like, okay, is it? And so some of the audience, some of the sister wives were saying things like, yes, an orgasm has to be involved. Some people did still say like penetration is involved. Some people also brought up the strap on. Some people had brought up like it can be, you know, oral sex is sex and like having all these different definitions of it. But I'm like, I don't know what the difference was other than like in my mind, I wasn't like, oh yeah, I just fucked that girl. Like that's just not how I felt about it. But also in hindsight, I'm like, I think that she felt that way about it. Mm. Remember we talked about this? Your face. Because I was like, oh, maybe that's why she was also more hurt, you know?
Yeah, Probably.
But in my mind, it was like, we're just messing around.
Just a couple of kids messing around.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we're making love.
Well, I don't think she thought that. But yeah, it's maybe. Like, what? So if you hook up with a girl, like you've obviously hooked up with one too many girls, if you ask me, in your heyday.
Just one too many?
Okay, relax. But it's like you would bring girls home. Uh-huh. Would you classify all of them as like, we had sex? Or like, are there any people that you just hooked up with, but even if the act itself was, again, similar to things we've done, but we now classify it as sex? Like, how do you differentiate? Because I've never had this single lesbian experience. So I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know.
Oh.
You know?
I don't know if I can recall like all the time. So okay. I'm not sure. But I think in general, I would say like, yeah, the people I hooked up with, I had sex with.
It was just sex.
Yeah.
You never would say we hooked up.
Maybe there's some people that I would have said that about, like maybe like there was like some fooling around in a bathroom or something, and it wasn't like full on, like we were like having sex. Yeah. But like in general, like, yeah, if I like got into a bed with somebody and the intention was like, we're having sex here. Yeah.
So was the bed part of it?
No, I don't.
It could be a couch. It could be.
Yeah, I don't think the bed is part of it, but I am saying like, I don't know, like definitely like hooked up with people in like public places where it's like we did not like full on like have sex, in my opinion.
Because you couldn't like go there.
Kind of. Exactly.
Whereas again with straight sex, same thing in public scenarios. You can't, even if you can't go there, because it's like that going there, it's this almost energetic thing or emotional thing. Whereas like straight sex, it's just P and the V. Mm-hmm. So even if you don't go there kind of emotionally or with that intention or whatever you want to call it, because the P is in the V, it's still considered sex. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It makes it very confusing.
I do think the intentionality is something I didn't like really think about, but I do think it is important.
Where you're
I think
both
it's like a big factor. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because also it's like, don't you think like that's really the really difference between being like, we had sex versus like, we made love. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
It's kind of like the intention and the emotion
the energy
behind it.
Of the experience.
Yeah. And so I think it's like the same thing with sex.
That's a good point. I think it's a good comparison, which can again apply to straight sex. It's very, people know what that is. Again, P and V, that's what it is. But then how does someone define it as like most people don't say we made love. I'm sorry, but most people don't say that. But if you're talking about it with your spouse, your partner, and you're like, wow, like that was
felt
so
different.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really intimate. That was like
a
strong emotional connection there. Like
even just the difference between sex and fucking is different. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So that's
massively
all of those differences of, and even if the same act is happening, P and V. Yeah. It's the intention, like it's just the energy of it, because it's usually unspoken. It's like if someone lays down a velvet blanket and they're like, let's like make love now.
I think it's the intention, the emotion, and the energy.
And just like the connection between you two.
Yeah.
But it is usually unspoken. Like you might say I love you in sex. It doesn't always mean you made love that time.
No.
You know? And I don't know. I feel like if they're like, okay, like we're going to make love now, I'd be like, you know, I would not find that romantic or attractive personally. It just sounds cheesy to me versus like when it happens organically and it just happens and you're like, wow, yeah, that was different. This felt versus it doesn't need to feel this like staged thing.
Like performative.
Yeah. Performative.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's why I didn't really like think about that before, but I do feel that is like a critical piece in defining it.
So I feel like this could be confusing for baby gays, right?
I think it's confusing for elder queers.
You know, but
and everyone in between.
But even more so, specifically baby gay girls, because I've talked about this too with gay guys, where it's like because there is a penis involved and often penetration, not always, like you said, you know, tons of gay guys that like they don't even do anal because of all the prep work, and they don't like it, so they pretty much only do oral, and like that's their preference. Do those guys say like we just had sex when they just do oral like that? You know what I mean? Yeah. Because I feel like people don't ask gay guys like, how do you have sex? Because they just assume it's like similar enough to P and the V that people are like, oh, there's this penetration happening, so like that's sex. Whereas with lesbians, there's so many ways it can happen that they're like, how does it happen? You know, this is straight people asking, but also I think baby gay is asking.
Really?
Yes, of course, because they're like, I would imagine, especially baby gays who have only been with men, because of everything I just said. It's like if I hooked up with a guy and he fingered me and then went down on me, I would not say we just had sex. Yeah. Even if he digitally penetrated me.
Can you never say that again? Why?
I knew that would upset you.
You just do stuff just to like... Why would you do that? It's not funny.
It's like the jizz portal. It's just like the jizz portal.
It's not funny.
But I'm just saying, you know, baby gay girls, they would be like, okay, yeah, but so then what is... I do think... We talked about this in the last episode. The difference, though, with guys and girls is the respect factor. And I feel like girls are more open. It feels safer, you know, to be like, hey, I'm new to this. And almost like talking about it with that person. You know what I mean? And being like, what like, is it, like, asking
that's
the
a conversation
questions.
I've had with a lot of people I just had sex with.
Exactly. So I think that is definitely a good thing too. It's like most people, you can have that conversation.
I think one of the best parts about lesbian sex is that it's kind of all encompassing.
What do you mean all encompassing?
Meaning that like...
You mean ambiguous? Like it can be...
Maybe, yeah. I don't know. But, like, I feel like with the straights, okay?
It's very straight.
It's very straight.
Very
it's like
linear.
It all has to lead up to this one moment, right? And, like, what if you don't want a dick inside you that day? Or in general. There's a lot of people, like, don't like penetration.
A lot
of women don't like penetration,
including
number one.
Straight women, by the way.
And, like... Or a lot of people are like, I really just don't want my vagina pounded for 5 minutes today. Like, that just sounds maybe, like, not nice.
Bad.
And maybe they want something else, but it's, like, because straight sex, like, always has to lead up to this one moment, or, like, I feel like the majority of people feel that way, you kind of, like, miss all the other stuff that could happen that's really nice. And
I don't know if the majority of people feel that might way.
Be more what you wanted anyways. And so for me, I'm like, that's the best part about lesbian sex.
Is that it's okay, so it's like straight sex, very linear. It's a formula.
Yes.
P and V. P plus V equals S. S equals sex.
Correct.
Okay.
Whereas, I thought you didn't do math.
That was letter math. Okay. Lesbian sex, it's literally feminine by nature, where it's kind of like it can't be contained.
Yeah, it's literally about like, I'm just going to do whatever it takes to make this person feel good to get them to a place where they're going to have an orgasm. And that could be a variety of activities. But gets to that point.
A lot of people also have a problem with the orgasm being the end goal. Like you just said that the end goal for the straights was the P and the V, but I know that gay people as well as straight people, it's like they think that having the end goal of an orgasm, it creates pressure. And a lot of people don't have orgasms, or haven't had an orgasm, I should say. Yeah. It's not that they don't, like they can most likely, but they haven't. And especially for women, like it's very mental for us. And I've heard so many women say this, as well as so many sister wives who have written in, and they're like, I don't like an orgasm needing to even be on the table because I feel pressure, and it actually like prevents me from having the orgasm, because then I'm in my head thinking like,
yeah, I get that.
Am I gonna get there, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think even taking that away and just being like, it's like a connect, especially if you're in a relationship, it's a tool for connecting and deepening intimacy. And then whether you're in a relationship or not, it's like it's about pleasure, even if that pleasure doesn't end up as an orgasm.
For sure. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because a lot of women who wrote in, who were defining lesbian sex, a lot of them said like, yeah, it's like when both people orgasm. And it's like, there's so many people who don't though. So then what is it?
Yeah. Or like, yeah, sometimes it'll just be like one person does, and it's like, and the other person's like, I'm good, like that was great, but like I can't get there today.
Exactly.
Doesn't mean you just didn't have sex that day.
Exactly.
It's like, but yeah, maybe you just couldn't get there, and you're like, I'm good, like that was awesome, felt great.
Yes. And I think like back to what you said about a lot of women not liking penetration, I think is definitely true. I don't know if it's the majority. We can ask. We'll poll the sister wives. We'll ask you who likes it, who doesn't. I would imagine it maybe is kind of split. I don't know if it's the majority.
Or it may not be like black and white, be like the occasional penetration, but like not every time. I think a lot of people feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I've heard so many women talk about what you were just saying. It's not that they don't like penetration. It's more like, but they do like the foreplay part. I'm talking about straight sex. They like the foreplay part before and need more of that, whereas the guys like just want to get it in because that part feels the best for him.
Yeah.
And so much of straight sex has been centered around male pleasure.
Yes.
And like getting him off, you know?
Yes.
And that's obviously,
I think more women are open to it if there was a lot more of lesbian sex before the P and the
of lesbian sex before.
Yeah.
But then what about...
Or maybe even like have an orgasm before the penetration. Like a lot of people want that. Like if they actually had an orgasm before, and then they would be open to the penetration.
And my question to that though is, because especially the older we get, and hormones are a real factor, which we talked about in our conversation. Like it is a real thing. It affects your sex drive, massively. Affects your energy levels, and just everything. The thing about having the lesbian sex before the straight sex is the time. Now it's like quickies are off the table because it's a whole production. You know, this is something that we talked about as well. And you're like, yeah, I feel, because for me, sometimes it's like, I for sure can be, I don't know if it's like a laziness. It's more of it's like the thought, I was explaining it to you, it's like someone saying, do you want to go for a run? And me thinking, is it going to be a marathon? Is it going to be a mile? Like if I know I'm about to run a marathon, like starting that is it's a lot harder for me to think about starting that because it's such a commitment. It's like such a big thing versus like a mile around the block. I'm like, whatever, that's fine. And you said you thought that was like me trying to make sex straighter. That was one of the things that you said. And I was like, it has nothing to do with straight or not. Like that's just I think a lot of women, especially at least women I've talked to, sister wives who have written in, are kind of like, it's not that sex is a chore in this negative way of like they don't like it. It's just if their body isn't in that place, like it takes a while. It sounds like so far away. I don't know. Like it's like yeah, I guess like I could get there, but then it's like we're going to be there for an hour. Like, it's just like this whole production. It just sounds like such a commitment. And the older we are too, it's like the busier you get. You don't have the space for that. Whereas like with the straight sex, you could be like, let's just go have a quickie, 5 minutes, boom, boom. And you almost forgo the pleasure part. It's like that part is removed from it just for the sake of like saying that you did it. You know what I mean? Like, can you have a quickie in lesbian sex?
I think a quickie in lesbian sex is 20 minutes.
So not quick.
It's not 5 minutes.
Right.
And I think you have to not be lazy.
Yeah, obviously.
And be like, yeah, 20 minutes.
And that's like 20 minutes
Yeah.
Okay. Quickie and lesbian sex, 20 minutes. Are there tools involved?
There don't need to be tools involved for 20 minutes, no.
Because it's also like, okay, what about like the foreplay of lesbian sex? Because if the foreplay in straight sex is the lesbian sex, what's the foreplay in lesbian sex?
Whatever you want it to be.
Just like making out, kind of like
touching,
rubbing,
kissing,
you know? Because even for
licking,
us, sometimes it could
stuff.
be a massage before, you know?
Right.
It's like it's like relaxing. Part of that, which I think a lot of women feel, it's like needing to kind of relax first and like get there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I guess so, yeah.
You don't feel that.
No. I'm like, let's go. Let's just get into it.
Yeah. But it's just people are different. I don't feel like that's a gay or a straight thing. I think that's just
No, I know. I think you explained it to me, but it's just like it's just a personality thing.
Well, yeah, I think it also we talked about too, just like sexual trauma and you know, like all of these things play a role in our
relationship with sex.
That's what we talked about when we were having our conversation. It's like the relationship you have with sex. Yeah. We have very different relationships with it.
I learned that, yeah.
Very, very
I learned different. That. We have very different relationships with sex.
You know, where I'm like, I do have a lot of sexual trauma. Mm-hmm. You have zero, which is pretty unusual for a woman, honestly. And I'm like, so something that we talked about, which we are going to talk more about in another episode, where it's this idea of like, am I attracted to this person versus, you know, do I think I'm attracted to this person because that's what I've been told to be attracted to, and this idea of compet we're going to get into.
This is going to be such an interesting
whole
topic,
other episode. Yeah. But when we're talking about it, and I'm like, yeah, like I have had sex with so many people I'm not attracted to, like most. Maybe all, like TBD, I don't know.
I don't even understand.
And you're like, what? Like, why would you ever have sex with someone you're not attracted to? I'm like, because I just assumed like that's how it was.
I really don't get that.
And I'm like, this is why I would hook up with all my friends. Because you
were comfortable with them.
Yes, it's like we would build this trust and intimacy, and then it's like I liked you as a person and I trusted you. Or it's like a guy I felt very safe with because he was just like a kind, nice person. And I mistook that for attraction. That's
so wild to me.
But that was like, just my body feeling safe.
All the people that I had sex with, I was attracted to them. Not necessarily always like physical attraction, could be like
just something,
attracted to their personality. But it was like
you wanted to.
I wanted to have sex with them because I was attracted to them.
Yes. And I didn't even realize this about myself until we had this conversation. And I was like, no, like and I was thinking about it. I was like, probably like most, maybe all, once I was in a relationship with someone, I did love them, you know, and then attraction was there because I loved them.
Sure.
But it's a different kind of it's like loving and being
like
in
attracted
love.
to somebody. Yes.
It's very different. And this is why I'm like, am I a lesbian? And I didn't know it, because now that I'm thinking about it, am I attracted to men?
Because the women that you hooked up with, were you attracted to them?
Yes.
All of them.
Yes. It's the feeling in your body where it's like alive.
Yes.
And with men, and people are probably like, you're a lesbian. Like, what are you talking about?
You guys, we had this conversation over 2 days, and we're going to talk about it more because it's going to be interesting in another episode. Mm-hmm. But like, this was the moment I realized that I think my wife is a lesbian, that I don't actually think that you're bi. I think it's like, you're capable of having sex with men. I'm not.
Right.
But I think you're gayer in the mind than I am.
In the mind. Yeah. But even I don't think I'm gayer
in the body.
I don't think I'm gayer in the body. It's probably equal, but it was like, so what I didn't know was that, you know, when I look back in hindsight of girls that even I just made out with, of just the feeling of like, oh my God, like this is the most classic feeling of when you kiss a girl for the first time. You're like, she's so soft. Like, mm-hmm. Girls are so soft. It feels
so good.
Disarming, you know? But I'm like,
or like the first time you have sex with a girl and you feel their body against you.
It's,
and they're like, their skin is so smooth and their body's so soft and their curves are like just perfect.
It's crazy.
I can't, and your bodies just fit together so perfectly. It's just like,
and it's like, somehow,
imagine being like touching a man. Like that sounds, I can't. They're hairy. They kind of smell. It's like they're kind of like, their beard scratches your face.
No, that's the worst. With
if they like go down on you.
That's what I was gonna say. The ouchies.
I'm just like, ugh.
Right.
Ugh.
But so then I was like,
that's how I know I'm gay.
But what I felt that in a girl of like, oh my God, like this feels so good. I just thought, well, of course it feels good because she's a girl and like everyone thinks girls feel good, right? Like if even a straight girl made out with her friend in college and she truly was totally straight, but they just made out drunk, I'm like, even she would be like, damn, your lips are soft. And I'm like, actually, I don't think that she thinks that. Does she?
I don't know.
I don't think she thinks that. I think what I was feeling was like attraction in my body.
Yes.
For the first real time. But I thought the attraction I felt before was just like, it was a totally different feeling. And that's what I said. The girl that we were referencing, who I very casually dated, I was like, I was never in love with her. I loved her as a person, as a friend, whatever. But I was like, I know that if we did end up like being in a relationship and I fell in love with her, the feeling that I had for her, like it would never, similar to, because our love, of course, is different than guys I've been with because we're married and we have a deeper relationship than anything I've ever had. But I was like, I know if I fell in love with her, that would be this same quality of love. I know that. And that sounds pretty gay.
Honey, you're so gay.
Right.
You're so gay.
But so my point is we have very different relationships with sex.
Yes, we do.
It's like you've only ever had sex with people you're attracted to.
Correct. Yeah.
You know?
I didn't
and
really
I
understand that was
crazy.
I really don't understand having sex with people you're not attracted to.
Because it's like, why do it at all?
Yeah.
The question. But then what
for
if you're...
Sure.
Because for me, I was like, when I was younger, I was more sexual. Like, I had a bigger sexual appetite, too. So...
Yeah, but
it's
like
what if
you could literally have sex with anyone you wanted in your 20s, literally.
But what if I just wanted to have sex?
You could have had sex with anyone you wanted. You couldn't find somebody you were attracted to. It's not like there was like a shortage of people that you could have had sex with. You were a very attractive person, okay? And that's how I feel. I'm like,
okay,
I'm like, there's a lot of options. And
this is it.
I'm going to pick somebody that I'm attracted to.
Because, so let's say, for instance, this would be happening when I'm single. So I'm not, this would be my experience. And I'm like, I still want to have sex. Like, I want to get laid. And if there was a hot guy at the bar, I'd be like, but he was a stranger, but very attractive. And I could recognize that. I don't want to have sex with him. I would rather have sex with my friend who I'm not attracted to, but I feel comfortable with.
Well, that's the relationship with sex piece, where it's
exactly.
like you didn't feel safe with
so it's like
certain people.
I would be like, yeah, I'm not attracted to this guy, but I feel really comfortable with him. So sure. I would rather have that type of sex than sex with a stranger who's hot.
Whereas for me,
you would go for the hot stranger.
And my friend was like, do you want to go home together? I'd be like, no, there's this girl that I'm really attracted to, though, and I feel safe enough to go home with her because she's a woman.
Right.
I don't feel like that's a threat, and we're going to go have this amazing time. I'm not going to fuck my friend right now. Why would I do that if I have these other choices?
Yeah, but that's why
I get it. I get people like fucking their friends because, like, you need whatever, friends with benefit situation, but if you have options.
Right.
Wouldn't you pick somebody that you're attracted to? But I get why you didn't, because you wanted to feel safe.
Yeah.
And like you wanted to trust the person, and you
more...
cannot trust strange men.
But well, it wasn't just that. It was also more of a like when you have that comfort with someone, that I think the sex is better. Versus like first time sex with a stranger is usually not great. Like usually not great. It's kind of weird.
Not in my experience.
Okay, well, that is the straight experience.
Yeah, I
Whereas,
think
like,
maybe it's more of a straight
sex with someone that
experience,
you know, even if you haven't had sex with them yet, but you are comfortable, I don't know. It's like, it's just usually better the first time, I think. But it does, I think it gets better as people age. That's another thing I'll say is, like, the younger I was, the one-off, like, one-night stands with the stranger weren't as good. But the older you get and the older the people get you are hooking up, because they have more experience versus, like, a young college guy that doesn't know what he's doing. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of it too. But oh God, our dogs are being demons out there. Okay, so myths and truths about lesbian sex. I want to know your thoughts on these.
Okay.
These are some things that people submitted. Okay, so we talked a little bit about quickies, but, like, how long it lasts. Is it true that it is a marathon and, like, it can go on forever? Is that a myth or a truth?
It absolutely can go on for hours, yeah.
Okay,
that's true.
So then a question that somebody had on the back of that is, when do you know when to stop?
I think it's usually, like, a mutual thing. Like, you kind of just know when to stop. When you're, like, usually...
You also talk about it.
Yeah, you talk about it. And it's, like, also, like, I don't know, I've had sessions that are, like, 4 hours. And eventually you're like, I'm getting kind of hungry or thirsty. Right. Like, we're out of water. I need water. You need, like, we need some pizza or something. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing I'll say, regardless of what kind of sex you're having. It's like the communication, which is what I was saying before. When it's someone you're comfortable with, I think you're more comfortable to ask. That can feel really scary for someone to be like, is this over? Like, or even scary to say, hey, I'm kind of good. Like, I'm tired. I'm
good.
Hungry.
Or, like, I gotta go to the bathroom and, like, maybe let's get some water.
Because another thing that somebody brought up that I thought was a really good point that a sister wife brought up is, like, baby gays or women who are newer to hooking up with women, even if they're not, like, full baby gay, you know, and have been with men before. It's like you are used to being in that role of pleasing the other person and being almost more submissive in some ways, not necessarily sexually, but I'm just saying, like, you're used to pleasing that other person if you've been used to straight relationships, like, not just sex but straight relationships. So it's like saying something like that of, like, hey, I'm good, or, like, I'm not gonna finish, or I'm done, you know, can feel really scary sometimes to newer gay girls because they're not used to, like, asking for what they want or saying stuff. This is true. This is something that somebody wrote in.
Interesting.
And I was like, I could see that, you know?
Interesting.
Because it reminds me of Tell Me Lies. Remember how Pippa was always faking her orgasms with Wrigley? Mm-hmm. And then when she hooked up with that girl, I forget what her name was, but the first girl she hooked up with, and she faked an orgasm, and the girl's like, what are you doing? And she's like, I'm coming. She's like, no, you're not. Like, why are you faking it? Yeah. Because that's what I mean by, like, maybe submission is the wrong word, but it's that, like, performative, like, I'm pleasing. I want to make sure you feel a certain way. Sure. So I'm not going to say, hey, a little to the left, or, like, you know? Yeah. Not all people are comfortable asking for what they want, but that's one of the best things about being a lesbian is you get to talk all the time.
Honey, you're so gay.
Okay, so what makes it sex versus not?
We just talked about it. I
know. So intention, like, is that the final answer?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. So this is a myth or a truth. Is the point multiple orgasms?
For me, feels like yes.
Yeah.
But for other people, maybe not.
So this was another contention point that you and I had. Because you're like, you literally said those words to me. That's the whole point. And I was like, not for me. Like, I have, like, one big one. Yeah. I've had multiple orgasms before. I'm not saying it's bad. It feels better for me to have kind of, like, edge and have a massive one. Mm-hmm. That feels better for me. Perfect. Even if, yes, because you didn't just, you know, if we're having straight sex, then usually it's like you can't just get going right away because of the guy's parts and the functionality of it, you know? So it's like in lesbian sex, it can keep going and going and going. But I'm like, it like is so sensitive. It almost hurts. Like, I don't want that. I'm good.
I know.
You know?
Then I can't ever have the multiple.
That's not true.
Because then you're done. You're done, dusted, everything.
I don't know how in detail.
No, let's exactly. Not go
Okay. Okay, so it's easier, myth or truth, it's easier because we have the same parts.
I think so, yeah.
You wouldn't really
that's
know
true, yeah.
anything else. So that's...
Yeah.
I think yes and no. It's not harder, but I think different to guys, you can have the same parts, but girls still like things very differently. Whereas like guys kind of, it's again, it's more linear. Of course they will have their tiny little quirks or whatever that might be slightly different, but it's like there's a way to do it. Whereas like all women have different needs.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But again, communication.
Yeah.
Okay. So we kind of said myth or truth, quickies don't exist. Is that a myth?
I think
depends how you define quickie.
Yes, I think that quickies do exist.
But it is 20 minutes.
No, it's not. I don't think necessarily.
You think it could be faster?
Yes, I do think it can be faster, depending on the person that you're with. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it could be 5 minutes.
5?
Yes.
With a vibrator.
No. Not for both people to orgasm.
Right.
But
yeah, for one person.
One person, 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had that experience like many times with people.
Yeah. I think for one person.
Yeah.
So this actually isn't on here, but because you just said that, does it not count as sex if it is for only one person?
I don't know. What do you think?
It's hard to say. It's hard to say because us having sex, we are married. Versus if I was out hooking up with people. Mm-hmm. Again, the intentionality, the energy, it feels different. So it's like if I hooked up with someone and it was just one-sided, would I say we had sex? I don't think I would. Not if we both were trying and someone couldn't.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel the same where I'm like, if we're trying to have a quickie and I go down on you or go down on somebody for 5 minutes and they have an orgasm, I don't feel like we had sex.
Yes.
I feel like I gave you an orgasm.
Yes.
Yeah.
But so then that's not a quickie, because a quickie is quick sex.
Sure.
You know what I mean? This is why it's confusing, guys. Help. Okay. Myth or truth, lesbian bed death is real.
It's true. It's real.
It's true.
It's real. It's a real thing.
Why?
I don't know.
Really? You don't know why? I think there's a lot of reasons why.
I think it's like, yeah, you get into a routine. Things are familiar, not exciting, and
I feel like age,
yeah, hormones. And I also think too, it's like the longer that you don't, the more awkward it can feel.
Again, it's that like mental, you feel like you're running the marathon.
So yeah, it's like, it's you gotta try to like avoid it at all costs, because like if you keep it going, it's easy to keep it going. But when you stop, it's hard to restart. I
would imagine it is, I could be wrong, that the rate is higher for older people, like 30, 35, or no? Is that not true? Like, I think in your 20s,
in your 20s too.
People, really?
Yes.
Because I just had such a higher sex drive when I was younger.
Me too. But it happens.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's shocking.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so to sum it all up, lesbian sex is very confusing.
Is it?
No, it's not. No, I'm saying to define it.
Sure.
The definition. It's not confusing to do. It is the best thing. As we have discussed, the softness is great. Okay.
Yes.
The curves, the feelings, all of that is ideal. But it's the definition of it that is like, ooh, I don't know. And like now it was just one person, and like, but a quickie is, there's all of those logistics. And sometimes it's kind of like, does it matter? Do you know what I mean? And
No.
really the only time it matters is in situations like ours, when you said, did you have sex with her? And I said, no, you know? And then you're like, okay, so you were thinking one thing this whole time. And it's not, you obviously weren't mad or anything. It's not like you're like, you lied to me, but it's just, shut up. But it's that. It's like, that's when it does matter to define it, to be able to, like, even for yourself. I don't know.
Yeah, just to understand your partner better.
Yes.
I feel like I got to know you so much better after that conversation. I was like, wow, I didn't even know who you were.
Yes. So it's kind of like when you're doing that with someone, it's hard because talking too much can kill the sexy vibes too. When you're like, let's break this down, you know? What does sex mean to you? Like, that's not super hot.
No.
You know? So it's like being able to have enough communication, but where it is still sexy and feels good. You know?
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah, I don't know how often people have these conversations. I'm sure they're having them, but like,
I mean, you said multiple girls that you were with would say,
yeah.
What did you say they said? That they were like, is this sex, or did we just hook up? Or you said something like that.
Yeah. Something like that.
So it's more like after the fact.
After, yeah, not in the moment.
Not in the moment. Is this sex?
Or are we making love? Oh, please don't do that. That would freak me out.
Please don't.
Are we making love, or are we having sex? Oh, God.
Yeah.
Neither.
But you'll feel it. Like, you'll feel, and this is again where it can go wrong. Like I said, I didn't think the girl that I was hooking up with, it was sex. And I think now in hindsight, she did. We never talked about it because I didn't know you're supposed to talk about it. Like, I didn't know anything.
To talk about it.
No, I know, but I'm saying it led to hurt feelings though. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's where sometimes it's like, okay, the definition would be nice, but there unfortunately is no definition. You get to decide what that is. So let us know. Let us know your definition. You don't have a who's the problem this week, or do you?
I don't.
I thought you had
Okay, fine. Do you want me to do it?
Yeah.
My who's the problem is, you're making me do this, is
segment?
Am I the problem? Because every week this is the hardest part for me to come up with something, and it's like, or
the hardest part of your week.
Yeah, or are you the problem for making me do this segment every week?
I guess
it's so hard to come up with a who's the problem.
This is what I would like to say in response to that, is that for somebody who complains often, it is surprising that you don't have a who's the problem. That's the point of it, is to be like, we always complain about these silly things. And what have I told you? Every single time you complain about just like something random, I say, write that down. You should have an ongoing list in your phone. And
is this why you wanted me to share this as my who's the problem, so that you could shame me for it?
Oh my God. No, I'm just saying.
Who's the problem?
Okay. We talked about lesbian bed death a little bit.
Okay.
So this is like, I don't know exactly how to phrase this, but it is this like trait of lesbians, like we said, to talk a lot. And sometimes because of that, it's like our intimacy can turn less sexual and more just like best friendsy. And that kills the vibe, you know? And same in a straight relationship. It's like if you become roommates instead of married, that kills the vibe, you know? And that's what I've heard is a big reason for the lesbian bed death, is that it's the like, you become too much of friends and not enough lovers kind of thing.
Yeah. And like enmeshed.
But it's like, that's also one of the best parts about it. So it's like, which one is the problem? You know?
The bed death is the problem. I can tell you the bed death is the problem.
Yeah. I don't know like what the options are for, but you know what I mean? It's like this, I think it's like a beautiful characteristic of lesbianism and WLW relationships.
Sure.
but then it also has this dark side, you know? And so it's like
super dark side. Yeah.
I guess it's just trying to bring that characteristic into balance.
Yeah.
You know, like the characteristic itself isn't bad.
No, it's not. It has to be in balance, because it's like you need the sex to
stay alive,
survive, thrive, and also like
stay connected
in that way, because it's like the relationship is so much better when you're intimately connected in that way.
And that's what I mean, is like there's so much intimacy still in lesbian relationships. It's just not sexual anymore, you know? And so you mistake that for like, we're so connected and like so intimate.
But it's not enough.
No. To be in a romantic relationship, at least.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was mine.
It can sustain you for a while, but you still have to have that, or it's just...
I just don't think it will...
Sad.
Long term.
It gets sad.
It gets sad.
Yeah. You always talk about how you get a floppy dorsal when you're like in the States for too long. Yeah. If it goes too long without having sex, I get a floppy dorsal.
We're talking about a dorsal fin like Free Willy, just to be clear.
Like an orca.
Like an orca in Free Willy when it gets all sad and floppy.
Yeah, and it flops over.
Yeah.
And then you have sex again and it perks up and you're like, oh my God, I feel so much better and I feel so much more connected to you. And like, we really need to keep that a priority. You can't let it die.
And that, I think, we should do a whole episode on, because it is... Sex in a marriage is different that way, where it's like these big life things are happening with things like fertility and miscarriages, and then once you have kids or parents dying, like all of this, and for a lot of people, myself included, the first thing to go is my sex drive, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's not... It's very real, you know, and it's real life stuff, and it's different than just like hooking up with girls, you know?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's complicated.
We did it. I'm so proud of you, honey, because I didn't think you would ever talk about sex on this podcast.
Well, I don't think I really had a choice.
That's right. No.
We love you guys.
We'll
see you next week.